In Pokemon Legends of Arceus, you play as... Oh, hold on. In Pokemon Legends of Arceus, you play as Cheeks, a normal 10-year-old human who is ripped out of his normal human life and delivered to the ancient Pokemon region of Huisui. Actually, I think I see him getting delivered right now. Oh. Quick, Rowlet, check his pockets. Looks like there's a note with a question on it. What does it say? What is Legends of Arceus worth? I don't know what I was expecting, guys, but man, this was a real treat. Legends of Arceus is a slight shift in focus of a traditional Pokemon game. Rather than placing emphasis on battling other trainers and Pokemon, Game Freak has transitioned the lens to one of exploration and discovery. The core loop is to find Pokemon, sneak up on Pokemon, and catch Pokemon. If you're discovered by other Pokemon, then you can either run away and repeat the process, or you can simply battle that Pokemon and punish them for their insolence. It really is simple, but there's this flow state that you can reach where you're just pitching Pokeballs every 5 seconds at something. Whether that be at new Pokemon to catch or new materials to gather, there's always something to do, and it's truly mesmerizing. In order to keep the loop fresh, the game slowly introduces new modes of transportation that open up new parts of the map which provide new Pokemon to catch and areas to explore. This means that there's always this sense of discovery within the game. Nothing ever feels stale or retired, and further sells the point that this is your adventure to do what you want to do. And we haven't even talked about Alpha Pokemon. I think that Alpha Pokemon are a great pacing decision, and they are introduced to you literally in the first zone, and you can't catch them, you can't beat them, or do anything to them, but they're there to let you know, hey, come back later when you're stronger, and you can fight me, and you can catch me, and I'm going to look literally different from any other Pokemon that you catch. It adds a sense of visual progression to the game that hasn't been depicted anywhere else in the franchise. Talk about mid-game rewards. Every time that I heard the Alpha Pokemon theme come up, I got a little excited because it meant I was gonna have a small challenge to overcome between conquering the regular story, and it wasn't like these guys were pushovers. If you decided to battle these Pokemon and you didn't one-shot them, then they were about to hand your butt to you on a silver platter. These new Mons were an excellent decision by Game Freak in order to keep the pacing of the game fresh throughout the experience. And it's not just Alpha Pokemon that kept the game loop fresh. There are some really cool new regional variants of Pokemon and brand new Pokemon that were introduced to the game. For instance, you have Cleaver, who's the new evolution of Scyther. This crazy Pokemon literally has axes for hands. Then you have the Hisui variant of Goodra, which is a steel dragon type, which it makes no sense that he has this drippy metal substance coming off of his face. Actually, wait, is that Mercury? Cheeks, you probably shouldn't be inhaling that stuff. Yeah, okay. Just be careful. Just looking out for you, buddy. But regardless, it's still cool. One last thing I just couldn't forget to mention is just the soundtrack. Each zone has its own poppy, upbeat soundtrack that makes exploring exciting, and it's the cherry on top to the general atmosphere of exploration for this game. In summary, this game is just a blast from tip to tail. Well, maybe most of the tip. Let's actually talk about my complaints. Yes, the game exploration is great, but good God, does it take forever to actually get to the good stuff. Initially, you're just left to roam the wilds with your tiny human legs, which restrict you from actually getting to go out and feel completely free in your pursuit of adventure. I would say I understand why Game Freak did that. They're trying to make sure that they don't overwhelm us by asking us to think for ourselves. And for some people, that could be a pro, but I would prefer that you let me go figure out what I can and cannot do on my own. Eventually, you are unleashed onto the world, and the game explains that there are side missions and secondary objectives for you to go and complete. I mentioned in my God of War review that most side missions are forgettable, and I'm here to let you know that this is the case for Pokemon. Each side mission is really just in place for the sake of saying that there is a side mission. Like most side content, there is little reason for a player to care about actually doing anything within these missions. Your rewards are usually some very common component part and rarely result in you getting something meaningful. With these missions being so hit and miss on value, there's no real reason to actually go and do these side quests except for the story, which is garbage. So yeah, why would anybody do these? Oh, but don't let me forget about the collectibles. There are these little purple wisps scattered throughout the world that you're requested to collect. Once you collect all 107 wisps, you can then obtain Spiritomb. This is the only way to obtain this Pokemon. 107 wisps to get one Pokemon, with no interim rewards between. The game also doesn't tell you explicitly that you will get something for collecting all the wisps, just collect the wisps. Let's contrast this to a good collectible system. Korok seeds from the Breath of the Wild. Korok seeds provided players an incremental upgrade to their weapons pouch, which is desperately needed by the player, and gave players this enticing interim reward for participating in the collection process. It made players excited to see some silly little apple puzzle in the open world because they were a step closer to completing their interim objective. This is why pacing and incentives are so important in games, because without thought to these areas, you can be left with players not wanting to participate in your system at all. Let's be honest, Spiritomb isn't that cool anyways, so who needs it? Now, it's time for my final complaint, the story. Simply, it's a giant piece of crap. I'll summarize the story for you. You fall out of the sky. Nobody trusts you because you fell out of the sky. You catch Pokemon good. Everyone trusts you because you catch Pokemon good. There. I summarized the story in 4 sentences, so why does it take me an hour and a half to actually get into the world and start exploring and leaning into all the cool aspects of this game? Every time that someone opened their mouth in this game, it was just a test to see how quickly I could skip the cutscene. The dialogue is hammy at best and just gets in the way of the overall experience. I'm not sure if the narrative seemed worse because the gameplay was just so enjoyable compared to the OG Pokemon games, but for some reason, the narrative just pissed me off. But was it so bad that I wouldn't recommend the game? Absolutely not. This game evoked so many feelings for me, and I don't care if this is my own personal wish fulfillment coming out, but every time that I started playing, I felt the 10-year-old me rushing down to turn on Saturday morning cartoons to join Ash on his adventure. Only this time, it was my adventure! The gameplay is just a solid loop that allows the world to be built upon, and the handful of gripes that I have, they don't make it unplayable or unbearable, it's just a few small blemishes on a largely great game. But time for the real question. What is Legends of Arceus worth?
Wake up, cheeks.
Oh, God?
What? No, I'm just a hallucination you took from that fall that you had. You gotta quit falling out of the sky, man. You're actually in a coma.
That doesn't sound very good.
You're telling me. But hey, quick question really quick. While that Rowlet was robbing you, he found $45 in your pocket. What was that for?
Oh, that money was representative of potential funds I was going to put towards an open world Pokemon game where I got to gallivant through fields catching unsuspecting birds and weasels.
You've got home troubles, don't you?
Yeah. If you enjoyed the review, like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.